All right, welcome back. Yes, Mr. Daniel Bola joins us next. He's the spokesperson at Atiku Okawa presidential campaign. Good morning. Thank you for coming on today.
Thank you. Good morning.
Well, the comments coming through from the River State governor, right. I think we may need to listen. I know you heard it, but the debates where quite a lot really going on, time and again, you see different persons coming through, and it just keeps giving that impression that he's not tagging along with the policy or the objective of the campaign, right. Because the latest one happens to be him taking a swipe at the presidential candidate of the PDP, saying, look, in his time, he was the one who did tell the sitting president to stand down. So suggesting that, well, now, the same thing happening about them putting their foot down concerning the emergence of the candidate. So this doesn't definitely leave a good signal for the party. And it keeps coming up. How is the party handling this now?
Well, thank you for having me, and good evening, good morning to your viewers. I can't wait to see evening. So what we do is, if you look at the pattern of interventions of Governor Wike, it is becoming clearer to the average man that he shifts goalposts. At first, it was the presidential candidate that was the problem. At other times, no, not the presidential candidate, but the chairman of the party. Then at other times, no, not these people. Other sets of stakeholders in the party are the ones responsible for the problem. Then he will reverse it again and come back to the presidential candidate. There is virtually, I personally monitor that, not a single commissioning on which Atiku was not a subject of conversation. I mean, you are commissioning a project. You are not having a party stakeholders meeting where you bring up things that have to do with crisis, so to speak, crisis in the party. So it is becoming apparent even to, I was asked by a journalist, not associated with our party, just a journalist. He said, what Wike is doing, is it pursuing an ambition or the actual crisis that is meant to be? So for example, what you call the G5 or the Gala 5, somebody says the Gala Night or Gala 5. If you look at the agitation and the complaint.
The integrity group. They've finally given a name.
Maybe we all have to go and check what integrity means, because I tried to look at dictionary, Oxford Dictionary, Oxford Advanced Learners, and look at encyclopedia. I just try to find out a word or definition of that integrity that correlates with what they are doing. But to the best of my knowledge, integrity is patriotism. Integrity is forthrightness. Integrity is sticking to what you say you're doing. Integrity is loyalty. These are some of the concepts that I believe portrays or demonstrates or explains what someone means by integrity. But I think if what he meant by integrity is the fact that they are agitating, I think it is clear now that Wike is pursuing his ambition and not what he claimed to be equity, fairness, and justice. And I can tell you that from every angle you look at it, his message is the opposite of his practice. So for example, he is an Ikwere man. He took over from an Ikwere person. His chief of staff is Ikwere. The vice chancellor is Ikwere. The rector, Ikwere. And if you look at even the recruitment process...
The rector of what? The River State government is not a university.
I say the vice chancellor is Ikwere man. The rector of their polytechnic is an Ikwere man. There is polytechnic have rector, not vice chancellor.
I understand that, but that's not government.
No, but what I'm saying, who appoints? The governor.
The point I'm trying to make is that this is not how government is distributed.
Yes, so that's you are making my point now, that if you say equity, fairness, and justice should reflect distribution of position, distribution of wealth.
By that, I mean that, if you're talking about government positions, the governor is an Ikwere man. Where is his deputy governor from? Where is the speaker from? Where's the chief judge of the River State
I get your point.
I'm talking about
so the chief judge
positions.
Oh, I see.
I'm not
the chief judge is an Ikwere man. So you come to the party because his complaint has been around party, right? So he is complaining about the fact that Atiku is from the north and Iocha is from the north. But his governorship candidate is from the same senatorial district, which is the chairman of the party in that state. And you can extend that...
The chairman of the party is from what senatorial district?
The same senatorial district where the governorship candidate is from. So I don't know what the name is, but they come from the same senatorial district. Let me say it again for clarification. The governorship candidate of Rivers and the chairman of the party in Rivers are both from the same senatorial district. And you can take that and apply it to virtually every facet of what he says, whether within or outside. Now, now he's talking about, okay, I'll provide logistics to Peter Obi, right? Now, if you are a crusader, you are an evangelist of fairness and equity, Peter Obi is an Igbo man from the south. The national chairman of Labour, I assume, presumably is Igbo, also from the south. If you go to NNPP, it's virtually the same. So what is the definition of integrity or the equity and fairness?
Yeah, but should the same thing be for the PDP? Because your principal says he is a unifier.
Correct.
So the narrative, the expectation, the yardstick should be completely different for him.
So from our own point of view, and I believe that we've had this conversation over and over in virtually all media houses as to how we come about where we are, right? The chairman of the party before now was from the south, Secondus, from the same state, in fact, with the governor. He removed him. People believe he did that because he had the ambition to run for presidency. And it won't be nice for the two of them to be in the same party. So if you look at the pattern is about self rather than about the collective interest. In any case, some of our elders who are supporting his cause and they say we agree with him, we're fighting for his cause, some of them chaired the position where they had to make a recommendation for zoning. And they were the ones that threw it open. Then Atiku went into it. Atiku emerged as the candidate. You participated in the primary. There's this thing that's in equity. They said equity aids the vigilant and not the indolent. And that you cannot participate in a process. After you lose, then you now question the process like you are in the Premier League. You participate in all the Premier League matches. At the end of the day, they say, my Chelsea won the league, and you said that it is
there's something
Ojoro.
that's also making the rounds now, because we need to verify if it's true, that some legal papers flying around asking that they disqualify Atiku Abubakar because he didn't emerge right. He should go to the south. Is there any, have you seen that?
Yes, yesterday in the evening, I saw it flying in a social media platform, one of the WhatsApp platforms that I happen to belong to, and I read through. And to be fair with you, I'm honest, the content of the summons are just the reflections of what Wike has been saying in all his commissioning. The fact, because the entire essence of the suit is that Atiku should be disqualified because the party ought to have zoned the presidency to the south, and that Wike, who came second, but he comes from the south, should be declared as the winner. I don't know who that person that filed or who is sponsoring the filing, but they know why they are doing that, and they know that
has the party been served with this? Is your party aware of this?
Not to my knowledge. I doubt if they have been, because from I saw in the platform there was a chart that accompanied that papers, and I think the people were still at that preliminary stage where you have to get an order of court for substituted service and then you go ahead to serve. So if what I read in that platform is the state of things, then I don't think the party has been served. But you see, this is mere distraction, so to speak. All of this, I will provide logistics to...
So is your party underestimating it by calling it a distraction?
Yeah, we already know that it's dead on arrival. But beyond that, we are saying that if you say that you are providing logistics, for example, for Peter Obi, whom you chased out of the party, you're providing logistics to Kwamkwaso.
Was it him that chased him out of the party? The emergency was I used to say for sure that he was the one who chased him out.
Okay, I'll give you an instance. Because at the time there was an agitation by elders of the party from the southeast that the power should be zoned. And I recall Atiku Abubakar even had a conversation where he said, if we're talking about zoning, then the two zones that should benefit is either the southeast or northeast. And that if it was zoned to the southeast, he was never going to run, right? So remember, Wike has always been saying he's not an Igbo, even though some people say he is, right? So because of that, if it was zoned to the southeast, he's shut out. He can't run for president. And therefore, this idea of Peter Obi, who has participated in 2019 as vice presidential candidate, if it was zoned, he's going to emerge. Now, I even there was a time in your program I said Chris Uba was used to chase him out. Last week or 2 weeks ago, I met with Chris Uba finally. I was driving, and he drove and then, signaled me to pull over, and he narrated to me, he confirmed to me some of the things that I'm saying.
So what did your principal do to bring Peter Obi back? or to prevent him from leaving if he knew that Wike was chasing him out, as you assume?
I believe for a fact, and you can find that out from Peter Obi, our principal has tried to get him to stay, but I think Peter Obi, on one occasion...
Was it not too late when he tried, or at what point did he try?
I think that, first of all, when he said he was going to run, he encouraged him, right? But within the party. But I think I've had Peter Obi granting an interview where he said, when he was asked, but did you tell your principal, Atiku Abubakar, that ran with you, that you were leaving? He said, no, I didn't, because it was a decision I made that I wasn't going to turn back from. And if I told him, probably he would have convinced me otherwise. So I left, and then 4 days later, after I declared, I contacted him. It is his right to run. I mean, nobody can stand against the exercise of right. But the point we're saying is, all the hula baloo and the hoopla around Peter Wike is this, Wike is that. I want to ask you, and by extension, the Nigerian people, from when he started his campaign of we will not support until this is done, until this is done, he has not been able to expand beyond the nucleus that he has always had. If the party is in problem, that would have expanded to find more people agreeing with his cause and pursuing him. In this democratic dispensation, I'm telling you, arguably.
But you said he wants to be part of that team.
Ebonyi
governor.
Yeah, Ebonyi is from APC, right? And first, who chased Ebonyi governor out of the party? Who chased Ben Ayede of Cross River out of the party? I mean, what I'm saying is not an assertion, because it was all over the news, people analyzed. When they were having back and forth in interview, Ebonyi will grant interview to channels, he will state his position, Peter Obi will do his own, and like I said, Wike will do his own and attack him. Intriguing enough, these same people that he chased out are now back into the party when he calls them for commissioning. And they act like these realities never existed in the first place.
Back into which party?
I mean, when they came back for commissioning, you know, so he will try to reinvent the wheel, right? Try to reenact history.
Some people will say that, you know, perhaps the reason why these people are willing to, you know, still visit him, and because don't forget that there had been previous visits.
Right.
The former governor, Peter Obi, who is currently running as presidential candidate of the Labour Party, it was not his first time in River State. 2 days ago, he had been to River State a number of times, even after he had declared on the platform of the Labour Party, before, you know, he was even invited to officially commission anything, you know, by the governor of River State. So there'll be questions as to whether those people felt hard done by Wike, as opposed to how he and the other governors feel about how the party has gone about not just the primaries, but promises that were made to them, not just by the presidential candidate, but even by the party itself, by other members of the party, and how the party has gone about fulfilling these promises.
The party has been consistent. You know, the party consists of organs, right? You know the processes that led to where we are, NWC meeting, NEC meeting. This is party. Party is bigger than one person. But with respect to the individuals that used to visit him for commissioning, Mark, if Peter Obi, if Governor Wike invites you to commission a project, it will take God and the Holy Spirit for you to say no. And I say no more.
Well, when we'll get to that bridge, we'll cross it. Let's bring in our guys from Lagos. They've got questions, so you go ahead, guys.
Well, I'm going to be crossing that bridge right now. Thank you, Chamberlain. Well, Mr. Boala, I'd like you to speak to one of the points raised earlier by Chamberlain. It was sort of not responded to by you, and it concerns Governor Wike's account of what played out in 2015 when the sitting president, Goodluck Jonathan at that time, and the candidate of the PDP was said to have visited your presidential candidate at that time, seeking his support, and he was said to have told the president, the sitting president at that time, to relinquish his ticket if he wanted his support. And Governor Wike even stopped short of saying that, you know, that was selfish, and they aren't even being selfish right now. They're not asking him to relinquish his ticket. All they are calling for, which they said they have been consistent with, is the removal, or at least the stepping down of the chairman, such that the Southerner can take that position. So I'd like you to speak to that particularly, what transpired then, because the view now is that what your candidate did then was a bit, you know, below the belt.
Yeah, you know, Mr. Kayode, yeah, what he said is what I think even in English they say whether reported speech. In law we call it hearsay. It was a situation he said that occurred at Dorchester in London. I was not there. There is no video footage. There was no press statement. The only person that can verify what he said is either the Goodluck Jonathan, President Goodluck Jonathan of Atiku, and he did not even allude to the fact that he was there. So he too was reporting. But above all, Mr. Kayode, that was 2015. Why has this never been an issue with him up to the time he participated in the primaries and is coming just now? Because every day you go fishing. You fish for something to do. You may need to ask him, when was the last time he visited Goodluck Jonathan? Goodluck Jonathan had his birthday a few days ago. I didn't see Governor Wike there. Has he been connecting with him? You see, you can pick up anything to make an issue, a mountain out of a molehill. But anybody who is a bystander or somebody who is neutral and looks at what he is saying will wonder why the conversation now and not then, why it didn't occur during the time of the primaries. Why now? And why the motive behind what you're saying? Are you looking to see how you can poison the heart of the base of Jonathan not to support the party? Because one fact is clear, Mr. Kayode, from what we are saying, because we too, our ears are in the street, our party is poised to win this election. Wike's non-participation might affect a little bit of the margin. So if we are supposed to win, let's say with 9 million votes or 8 million votes, and that may reduce to 6 million votes or something like that. But this victory is destined by God. And I can tell you that there can be conspiracy, there can be collaboration, there can be anything. We know Electoral Amendment Act and what it brings. We saw it in Osun. We had some members of our party even walk against the party in that state. But what happened? The dancing senator danced his way to victory because the people spoke and the voices of the people, was heard. And this is how we are going to be looking at this election.
Well, Mr. Bola,
the bigger picture is what we are confronted.
Right.
You have not seen the multi-dimensional poverty index?
Pardon me, I just wanted to be clear. So what your position is on that? You're saying that maybe Governor Wike's account is false, is not really what transpired, or that, you wait to hear from your principal. I wonder if you think that your principal will have to speak to this. But if it turns out, just saying that Governor Wike's account is indeed what transpired, would you then say that your principal at that time was maybe being unfair, selfish, as Governor Wike stopped short of saying, to have made that kind of demand at that time?
You only make comment on, you don't make comment on hypothesis, you make comment on real issues. The court does not determine academic issues, they determine live issues. What he's saying is academic, it's not live issue. In any case, you must have come across a footage, either picture or video, where President Goodluck Jonathan himself, when he was visited by the vice presidential candidate, Governor Okowa, and he addressed Governor Okowa as the incoming vice president of the Republic, of the Federal Republic. So there is this thing in law, we say we've gone past that stage. That is the situation here. And I know that for the optics, when they try to take us back, is to try to generate a talking point, and then we start excavating the past when we are looking towards the future. In any case, conduct sometimes determines the state of affairs. And the conduct of President Goodluck Jonathan by that visitation is a conclusive proof that President Goodluck Jonathan is with us. President Goodluck Jonathan has accepted the fact and believed prophetically that we are winning the election, to the point where he was sincerely telling the people that visited him that Governor Okowa was the incoming vice president of the Federal Republic. This is how we move.
Yeah. Well,
we
it's
roll
interesting,
with facts.
Mr. Boala, just a second. It's interesting, that, you made a difference, clear a difference between politics and reality. And sometimes one wonders which one is which. But then speak to one of the questions that I think was Mark Chimeriland asked you earlier about the role your candidate promised to play in unifying Nigeria. Here you are tearing down at members of your party who are not happy with one thing or the other that they consider to be unfair. So if such a thing should happen within Nigeria, will your party take the same position about those who are dissident about the country, as opposed to finding a way to unify everyone, bringing everyone under the same roof or umbrella, as your party logo says? Because it would seem like right now, anyone who is against your candidate is a dissident.
No. As a matter of fact, amongst all the presidential candidates, none has demonstrated by his conduct and operations that he believes in the unity of the country and that he will, in fact, unify the country than Atiku Abubakar. We were in Lagos, I think about a week ago, in our engagement with Lagos Business School. And he said, talking about even the past, how he started, the trajectory, he said he is going to form the government of national unity. So it even goes beyond just incorporating all members of our party in this project, but he believes the project Nigeria and the dream of Nigeria includes even going to the extent of bringing members of other political parties to form this government. And he talked about 1999 when they came on board. They did the same. He is top-notch and A-list when it comes to headhunting. Number two, the architecture around his political struggle right now is controlled by the people from the southern Nigeria. And I said that you are an journalist, you can do this investigative journalism. Number three, if you look at his operations in the party, if you look at the talking point, if you look at his agenda, for example, he is the only candidate in whose manifesto you find the unity of Nigeria as a salient point. In fact, he pushed the argument further in the manifesto to say that, in fact, some of the problems of insecurity in the country, bad economy, is because the Nigerian people are not united into a common front and common project. So he stands. Any action to negative that is just a mere exercise in futility.
All right. The PDP, no, the Labour Party chairman, I think, is from the South, actually.
Right. Oh, South.
Yeah, and then, I mean, I see people saying, well, Atiku left PDP in 2015. In 2019, he ran on the principle of zoning. In the last PDP convention, the national chairman emerged on principle of zoning. And so they keep wondering, so what changed? So there you go. But I think that's where we'll have to let it go today. The matter is unending. Who knows what twist it will come forth tomorrow. Mr. Daniel Bola is a spokesperson of Atiku Okowa presidential campaign.